Podcast with your host Treynomics, and I'm joined by my co-host Slick Vic,
Yo, what up, y'all?
my boy Rob. Say what's up to everybody, Rob.
Hello, everyone.
And I'm joined by the beautiful swag gorgeous herself,
Hello.
Erica. Say what's up to everybody, Erica.
Hello, hello.
All right, and I'm joined by some lovely guests today. Can you please introduce yourself, Lakaya, to everybody?
It's Lakia. Hey, y'all.
Oh, all right. And Miss Courtney, can you introduce yourself to everybody, please?
Hi, everybody. I'm Courtney.
And Miss Foreign.
Yeah, I knew you couldn't do it. Hey, y'all. I'm Leah.
Okay, I got Leia, Lakia. Am I saying that right? I'm sorry. Okay,
It's
Lakia.
Lakia.
Got it this time. Good. Courtney and Lena. Lena. See, I was almost there. But welcome to the panel. Welcome to the panel. Okay. Today we're talking about narcissism and dating. Okay. It's one of those big hot topics that everybody's been, trying to figure out when it comes to dating. Is one of those things that you might think of. Is it me, or is that person? Sometimes being like narcissist, it's kind of like one of those things like narcissists kind of know how to hide themselves being narcissists because they might have little traits. So there's things that you have to identify when it comes to dealing with a narcissist. Okay, so I'm a narcissist. I'm gonna pull up what a narcissist is for some people that may not know what a narcissist is. Okay, narcissist is a personality disorder that involves a pattern of self-centeredness, ignorant thinking and behavior, a lack of empathy and consideration for other people, and excessive need for admiration. So, other people might describe this as cocky, manipulative, selfish, patronizing, and demanding. Okay. So we all inherently have some types of traits when it comes to narcissism, but when somebody inhibits all of those traits, then you most likely are dealing with a narcissist. Okay, so sometimes when it comes to narcissism and dealing with narcissists, you might first meet that person and that person puts on a persona that's not them, so they're not coming off truthful to who they are. You get me? So most of the time you might think, oh, this person is very nice and this person is really all about me, but that person's really just putting on to get your attention because narcissist really loves attention. You get me? So a lot of times we have problem when it comes to, I'm going to say, the women's side of the house is when they look for a man, they want a confident man. You hear it all the time. Most women want a confident guy. So, but narcissism, they come with confidence by the buckets loads.
This audio went out. Yeah, I think he frozen.
Definitely frozen.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna continue till he get his audio back up. Yeah, so my take on narcissism, man, I guess, within relationships, you can see some people try to isolate their partners, try to, keep them from going out doing their things and, or having fun or just basically want them to themselves and also, with themselves. Don't never think they wrong, always think they right with everything. Uh, it's a lot of things that can play into narcissism, but it's not to be misconstrued with a confident person, a person that thinks highly of themselves. As long as you're not looking down on people and treating other people with like trash, I think it's fine. But Rob, you got anything else to say about it?
No, like I said, man, in relationships, man, it's a little bit different. You know what I mean? From the outside looking in, we can point the finger and say, oh yeah, that's a narcissist. That's a narcissist. But when you're in a relationship, man, it takes on another another meaning. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because that I got distracted by that comment. But anyway, when you're in a relationship, man, you're inside, you're involved, and so, and especially if you're in a relationship over an extended period of time, you don't know what you're dealing with a lot of time. You just think somebody tripping, or they need it, or you know what I mean. They nagging, whatever the case may be, or they selfish or whatever. But until you step outside of that and you begin to look at the patterns, what created this, where is this coming from? You know what I mean? And then you do, you know what I mean? You do your objective uh, education on it, man. That's when you can really begin to discover what you're dealing with on a personal level, more so than on a grand scale. Because I mean, I'm quite sure that all of us can identify that, man. You know, you done dealt with some people, man. And once you're done dealing with those people, you're completely drained of your energy. And
Mhm.
one of those traits, it is an energy vampire. It will suck the life out of you because there's an excessive need for attention, an excessive amount of need for attention. And so, you know, those are one of those things, man, that, you know, just coming from my perspective in relationships, you know, is that it will suck the life out of you. And if you ain't ready to deal with that thing head to head, it'll definitely beat you down.
Right.
So
What about you, Swag Gorgeous? What's your take on it?
Well, I agree with the definition that Trey gave because that was the definition probably from Google, so it was spot on. But I do feel like maybe a lot of narcissists haven't been exposed to a healthy situation, so then they can have an understanding that sympathy or empathy is needed in a relationship, and that it may be situations where it has always been about them, so they are for self, and they may have been in a negative relationship that made them feel that way or situation. And some people may never have been in a negative situation to make them a narcissist. They just value and obsessively are and like of themselves, and so they are out there to see what you can do to benefit them. But I think if they're exposed to like healthy relationships, healthy friendships, then that can help them try to mend some of them ways. Like even with me, empathy was a hard thing for me to incorporate into my everyday life because that's not the way that I was raised and I grew up. I'm more of
Mhm.
a logical person, but being exposed to certain people and being able to see like empathy is important to have. It doesn't mean that I'm being emotional or too sensitive to have empathy for somebody. It doesn't have to always be something logical that I got to think about, but I think like I was saying, I think sometimes for them it may be that they just need to be exposed to something that is different and let them know like they're not the only person that matters. So that's my take.
Right. Right. Yeah, I like how you said empathy because I heard that a lot about myself too. I don't have a lot of empathy, and I tried to sit back and think about empathy. Like, damn, I do care about this people. You know what I mean? But I'm definitely hard on them because I know I see more in them than what they're giving. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I might not display empathy to them because that's my way of trying to push them.
Mhm.
But but other people don't see it that way. But Lakia. You said you study in this matter, right?
I
What's your
do.
take?
So many different things. When y'all was talking about empathy, I was thinking like narcissists do lack like empathy, but it's a like learned behavior. So it's really where they just don't empathize at all. Like you said, like you do care about someone, so empathy is there. They don't have it at all. Period.
Right.
And it's nothing that you can do to make them empathize. It's like they don't know how, period.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, most times narcissists are created through trauma. And so the behavior continues until they learn how to manipulate over time with certain behaviors to get the attention, to get the I guess, the love and admiration that they desire in a certain way that builds them up. But then at the same time, they're manipulating and tearing the other person down. And on to the next and on to the next. So it's a created and learned behavior. And usually narcissists will never admit that they're narcissists because, for one, they don't believe that they are narcissists.
Right.
Right. Thank you for that input there. I'm back. Had some technical difficulties, so I'm back. Hey, before we continue on, please get in the comment sections and like the video. We trying to give you some good sauce today. I was trying to really say, when it comes to narcissists, I think y'all kind of tapped on it. That narcissists tend to, like you said, don't empathize. They think of themselves, and the things that you think they're doing for you is really for their ego and everything like that. And so when I was saying, what I was getting on before I got cut off from my, internet access, that when it came to women, when they look for confident men, they might run into a narcissist who brings that confidence, everything that they want, by the truckloads. So they'll confuse their confidence, they'll confuse their narcissisticness with confidence, to a point where they get into a relationship with that person, and that person doesn't reveal that they're a narcissist until they're pretty deep and involved with that person. So that's why I kind of really cautious people when it comes to dealing with narcissists, is that, like I always tell you, like 6 months is that representative phase. Everybody's bringing their representatives that first 6 months. So, but when people start really letting down all those barriers and really showing who they are, really pay attention to who they are. And if they still acting that way before they start acting, they're acting the way that you desired, then that person might not be a narcissist. But normally that's when them traits starts showing out. But that was my last little spiel. Wanted to just throw that out there. But so I don't know where the conversation was at. You said Lakia, you was at. So who else was
we on the Courtney now.
Courtney? Okay, Courtney, what's your take on narcissism?
So basically I can agree with Erica and Vic. Sometimes I feel like I do lack empathy. Now I know how to show sympathy for the person or for whatever situation is being presented. But as far as empathy, that is something that I had struggled with in the past. And once I was able to identify that, step back and just look at myself being in a relationship, I was like, okay, well, maybe this is something that I do need to change. This is something that I do need to work on. So I've gotten better when it comes to gotten better when it comes to showing more empathy to my partner and making sure that I'm doing what's best for the collective and not just what's best for myself. But I guess my take like I said, I can just agree with the both of them. So.
Okay. Lena, what's your take on narcissism?
Narcissism is kind of tricky because I feel like some narcissists are some of like certain people's like favorite people. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like they're so good with people. They're so good at pleasing you. I mean, sometimes it's not long term, so it'll just feel good for the moment, but it's like you'll hold on to who that person was forever, some of us. So right. I feel like, it's hard, and sometimes you just kind of have to appeal to them. Like they might not be able to show empathy to you, but I like to show empathy to them so they can feel how it feels. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So then they'll just think like, dang, maybe I do want to change my ways. And if they don't after that, I feel like some people, they're just stuck in their ways. So, when I see somebody, I'm going to overanalyze them anyway. And, I got some narcissistic friends. I'm probably a little, deep down a little bit myself. I got main character syndrome sometimes, but, I don't know. I take people for who they are sometimes.
I like her input, and I feel like now that was Lakia, how you said that narcissists they don't understand what empathy is, and it's something behavior that they just did have. I might be a recovering narcissist because that's something I had to learn. That's not nothing that was naturally put in me. Like I'm a very logical individual, and I don't necessarily care about your that something happened to you and this is the way you're behaving like that. I care about what are you doing to change that. Like I cannot empathize with this affected your behavior. I'm so logical, but for me, I was raised a very military style. When I was in the Marines, I was raised a very military style. And I don't know, maybe being a Virgo may put that little narcissist trait in me. I don't know, but I do like empathy, and it had to take for somebody to really instill into me like that's not cool, and for me to be like, you know what, maybe I should incorporate putting that in there. So if I am a narcissist or was a recovering narcissist, shit, I don't know, but empathy is my friend.
Right.
I like that.
But I think a lot of people, a lot of people do need that type of, you know, person without empathy in their life, because some people just can't get it on track, and if you show that pretty much that, you know, that strength and not giving way to them, and you know, because that's what they're looking for, a way out. And we, you know, I don't give no person a way out, you know. So I stand on mine. I still stand on mine today. I don't, you know, but I am caring. I know what I know I'm conscious of what I'm doing, but I'm doing it for a reason, and that reason is to better this person. You know what I'm saying? And make them see that they can be better, and whatever the case is. But I don't necessarily think just empathy, you know, is narcissistic or whatever, or categorize me as being narcissist. You know what I'm saying? So
there's more traits
yeah
that adds up to someone being an actual narcissist, right? Just lacking empathy. You just may be fed up with something at that moment, right? Like a certain behavior. Like I don't empathize with ignorance, right? Like just get it together. But it's having the feeling for someone too, and like understanding, like you can still understand, but not maybe empathize with that situation. So it's more traits than just empathy.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
For a narcissist.
You hit on that empathy trait that people who don't have it, that I don't know, that kind of like that hit a little bit, because I was like, only a narcissist. Empathy. I don't really do empathy. I done seen personally people go through some shitty ass beginnings of life and be able to make it, and they shouldn't be where they at. So for you to tell me that you're going through something and that's the reason why you're here, I'm like, what? This shit don't make no sense to me. So my situation is I just don't care for that. Where's the logic at? We can talk about empathy. No, I'm not gonna feel sorry for you. I'm not. But that's something I have to learn, and I feel like the only reason why I'm kind of like I want to learn how to have empathy is because when I have children, then I want to have that characteristics. But if that was something that I was like, I'm not having kids, I wouldn't even be wanting to care about empathy. It's just not nothing that I want to touch.
Right. Yeah, man. If you don't have, some people will run over you, man. So you gotta stand on that.
Yeah.
And I
because go ahead. No, what I was about to say, not to cut you off.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hello. Go ahead. No, to add to what he was saying.
What Lakia was saying, you know, it's a learned behavior. I feel like narcissists are created because it could just be something that they pretty much have been through in the past that has allowed them to build a certain type of defense mechanisms to protect themselves from things that they've experienced in the past. I just feel like it's something that I feel like narcissists are created because of certain things that they've certain things that they've accepted in the past, just basically putting other people before them or putting certain things, you know, on the back burner and not really speaking on it, brushing up under the rug. Then I feel like that's a way that they can actually be created. I don't feel like that is, I guess, well, y'all say it's a behavioral trait, so can it be like it? Do y'all feel that it's like something that's created, or do you feel like it's something that you are actually born with and it just exposes itself all the time?
It's not created by design, like someone intentionally doing certain things. It's usually coming from trauma. Someone that doesn't show you empathy or any type of sympathy or compassion, you learn that behavior, and so you begin to mimic that. And when something doesn't feel right to you in relationships, I don't want that feeling, so I manipulate the situation to fit me. I I want this relationship to be this way. I don't like it when you do this because I don't understand what that feeling and emotion is because I never got love and support, or I never got hugs and kisses, or I was always beat as a kid, or I was tied up in the basement, right? So in order for you to do what I need you to do, I don't really care about your feelings. I'm going to make you believe that I do for as long as I can, until I get you to a certain place in life where now whatever I do doesn't matter to you because you're not going to leave. Those traits are created through trauma, not like someone teaching you intentionally how to be a narcissist.
I feel like that's how some of them are created, but I don't feel like all narcissists are created from trauma. It might be that it's just some people might be the only child or something like that, or their parents made it where they were the center of the attention and they were given love, but it was all about me, 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 me. Like you got in some cultures where the boy is like treated like a god. So when he becomes to be with a woman, then he's a narcissist because he was raised to be, I'm always right. This is what, it's just all about me, me, me. So that didn't come from trauma. It's just the way that they were raised up and brought up. So I don't think being a narcissist, I just don't feel like being a narcissist is always created from trauma, nor do I really feel like they are bad people. I just feel like there are some traits that can be altered a little bit to also benefit other people and benefit them in return.
Your upbringing, I mean,
yeah,
I don't know, but can we break down? I don't know if anybody have these definitions. Can we break down what is a narcissist, the characteristics of a narcissist inside of a relationship, though? Do anybody got that?
Well, Lakia had hit on it. I mean, she hit on it. You know, it's an overwhelmingly preoccupied sense of self, regardless of what you think about a situation. I know it's hard for narcissists to handle disagreement.
Right.
I always have to be right.
Yeah.
I got to be right attitude. Projection. Guilt shaming. Unrealistic expectation.
Right.
You know, it's and very judgmental, very critical. You know, look to find fault with other people. High on gaslighting. Will fuck the shit out of your mind to make you think you the crazy one. You know what I mean? So it's those kind of traits that we have to look for. And it's not an easy thing because when you're close to somebody or in love with somebody that exhibits those traits, or if you're the one that has exhibited those traits, it's a hard thing to overcome. Because if I'm a narcissist, I don't have a problem. It's you.
Because I've made you over time believe that it's you. And usually a narcissist, those traits don't all come out at once. Right. Nor do they all come out fast. This is a long span of years before you really say that I'm with a narcissist. It's actually kind of hard to diagnose. Well, not hard to diagnose, like a true narcissist, because some of their behaviors can be very calculating. They could be very good in public. They could be great at public speaking. They could, out in the open, the relationship looks like, man, relationship goes, oh, they is good together. But on the inside, when they get home, he's knocking your head off, but then also kissing you on the forehead, telling you, baby, I love you. Or the opposite. The woman beating his, you know what, kissing him on the forehead saying, baby, I love you. So all those traits don't come out all at once. And I think, is it swag? I'm gonna say swag. Hey girl. For the sons or even daughters that are just raised like as an only child and the me, that's more of like self-centeredness. They don't know how to get out of that, which is not a bad thing. It's just, that's also a learned behavior as well. It's always been them in the center of attention, but narcissism isn't just center of attention. It's so many other different like traits, like manipulation, being very calculating and stuff like that. So someone that's a self-centered person doesn't always have to be a narcissist. They just unfortunately is self-centered as hell.
Self-centered.
No, I get that. I'm not saying that just self-centeredness is what a narcissist is. What I'm saying is that you can create a child that if you treat them that way, that they are always the important one and that they're right and everything is for them, they can be a regular person or they can turn into a narcissist.
Yeah,
because they're not concerned about nobody else. And so if I'm not getting what I want, then I'll figure out how to get it. So I do feel like those type of people are created. And I ain't gonna lie, now that I'm listening to a lot of this shit, I'm gonna be a little
somebody thinking they're narcissist.
So do you guys think is it possible for a person to become or mutate into being narcissistic within a relationship? Like maybe they wasn't before the relationship, but then things happen within the relationship that makes them turn to be narcissists.
No, I think
you don't think so?
Mm-mm.
I don't think so. Because I feel like if something happened like that, it's gonna turn to a scorned person and they reacting off of hurt. So I feel like a narcissist is either in you or it's not in you. I feel like a narcissist can change their ways to take themselves out of being a narcissist, but I don't think you can create a narcissist out of an adult. I just think that's a scorned person and they just so they reacting off of that.
You can have a narcissist in therapy for years and they will continue being a narcissist because they don't think nothing's wrong with them.
Nothing wrong with it.
They literally don't think it's not me, it's you.
Nothing wrong with that.
I don't even know why I'm here. What are we doing today?
But sometimes you know what the scariest part about narcissists is some of them don't even know they narcissists. Well, a lot of them don't even know they narcissists. Like I know countless women that
your audio, your mic is messing up.
Hold on. I think we still gotta get her. You know, her internet going. Probably it's probably like a messed up internet syndrome going on.
Her internet
in the Pure Game podcast, but still, they trying to hate on the subject. But I met countless of people who blame, and never really look within themselves. They're always perfect. They're always the victim in that situation. And so I start to think like, is it the people? Or are you just the most unluckiest person in America, or almost most unluckiest person in the world? Like we say about narcissism, right? Sense of entitlement or superiority, lack of empathy, manipulative, controlling behavior, a strong need for admiration, focus on getting one's own needs met, often ignoring the other person's needs, higher levels of aggression, difficulty taking feedback about their behavior, those things align with some people. And then they run, I know countless of people that will come and be like, Trey, I deal with all these narcissists. I'm like, well, I know you, and all you do is talk about yourself all the time. You don't ask about how nobody's day is going, So it goes to show to me that narcissism is an unaware thing. Like these are things that people don't even know that they are. So I got a question for you, Lakia. Hope I said the name right, because I'm terrible with names. All right, good. You seem like the resident expert in this field. What do you do for those people who don't know? Like, how is there a way for people to identify themselves, give themselves a self-check of their narcissism?
Right.
It's different behaviors that need to be broken down, right? Like you can't bundle it all up at once and say, I need you to check yourself because you're a narcissist. It's like you have to address each behavior, like the manipulative behavior, the self-centered behavior. And you got to give examples for it to make it make sense. That's why narcissists can be narcissists for years and not really notice, because it's so many different traits that I don't see a problem with it. And why should you? They have to first acknowledge it first and foremost. Even if it's certain traits, like, yeah, you know what, I might manipulate to get my way. Okay, great. But the other stuff, they got to be able to acknowledge it. That's like someone being in a bad relationship. Like they stay there for years because they won't acknowledge. I'm sick of getting my ass beat every night. If you don't acknowledge the behavior, you will never.
Okay, I got a question.
Spoiled.
Let me ask this question real quick. So, because I remember you just saying that a narcissist cannot stop being a narcissist. So, what's the point of acknowledging those traits if they can't pull out of that person?
Well, I don't want to say never, because never is a bad word, right? Yeah. If that person can acknowledge it, that's how you get healed. And I think that's just with anything, right? If you acknowledge the behavior, you can be healed. So
I get that part. When you said that, because I said a person that was not a narcissist can't become one, but a person that is a narcissist can get themselves out of that. You said, no, you feel like a narcissist is always going to be a narcissist. So that's why I was asking that question, because Trey asked you that question. If that's the case, that they can't change their stripes, then it's like, what's the point of you even having a conversation? But I'm glad you clarified that, because I agree with that they can change their ways.
Yeah.
Right.
My only thing I think is like when a narcissist, something makes sense to them, they'll give you the feedback that you're looking for, and then they'll just figure out a more calculated way to come next time. You know what I mean? Like sometimes they know exactly what you want to hear because that's what they do. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to manipulate you and make you think, yeah, exactly next time this same situation won't happen. And they'll just find another way to manipulate you, but it's better. You know, like those people are good at just figuring you out. And I'm starting to realize, like, yeah, I have some traits like that. Because if I want my way, I'll figure out the way.
See what I'm saying? And that's why I say this is a woman's trait. I'm trying to tell y'all women are master manipulators.
No,
the guys are too, though.
You know how to get your way.
And y'all, we just had these conversations about how y'all get the cakes. And y'all be manipulating these women out they draws. So what you talking about?
Yeah, we never said we manipulate no women out their draws.
Trey.
When it said the cakes, I just said
it's freely.
I just said standards. That's it. So when a guy has their standard, it's terrible. It's a terrible thing. But when y'all say y'all standard,
no, nobody. That's not true. Y'all don't stand a lot. I ain't gonna say all y'all, because I don't do everybody. I categorize. Some of y'all don't stand by y'all standards. So then when y'all meet somebody like me that may be a little bit of a narcissist, I know how to break through that shit, because y'all don't know how to stand by it. So y'all gotta see y'all ground. So
you saying narcissists got game, huh?
What they do?
Narcissists got all the game, huh?
What you want to call it?
You do got a little something. They very calculating.
These women out here being manipulating. Be right up on you, fight the shit out of you.
Right.
Well, you gotta protect yourself. It's not my job to protect you.
Hey, what did Rob say that last episode? What happened with Adam and Eve? Who was the first narcissist?
Probably Eve, because she broke. You know what?
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
She looked at the tree, saw that it was good for food.
Adam was manipulating. He didn't say
I could become a god. It became a competition.
All right.
Listen though, I don't want to disrespect Adam, and I don't want to disrespect Eve.
It's not about disrespect. It's obvious.
Not tight. So Eve
we just analyzing
what she felt like she needed to do to get to that apple.
Wow.
Look, this is what I'm gonna say.
Damn, Adam should have been strong. He the man. You the leader.
Exactly. That's why I call him that's why I call him the first simp. I call him the first weak man.
That's not her fault. That's him. You can't walk the man to the water. No, I know. Wait, how they said you can walk the man to the water. You cannot teach him how to drink.
He should have stood his ground. God
needed to maybe God
work
out. Author or something.
Make
I
me
don't know.
another.
Adam was not the man for the job.
That's what I'm gonna say about narcissism and the women trait.
it's
Difficulty taking feedback about their behavior.
What? And that's only what you just say.
We got about 50. We got 50 things on this list. Just listen.
Difficulty taking feedback about their behaviors. Mostly is women is the ones who argue about when you start to give them feedback about their hate behavior, instead of them taking the feedback in and being like, okay, they want to dispute it. You get me? That's more of a female trait. Now, Leon, okay, go ahead. What's the question? What you got? What's your statement?
No question. She got to answer.
Yeah. How old are those women? What have they been through? And what they background like? Because if she's young-minded,
these women are 19 to 47.
Damn.
Okay.
Their background is every ethnicity.
Okay.
I think it's 60 now because the pandemic
60.
blew TikTok up.
But what's the background of these men? Do they have
what is that?
traits?
What is that?
To everybody. What is what's the traits of these guys? Because I'm like, you're not about to lead me wrong and you tell me that I'm doing something I'm supposed to just, okay, let me go with it. No, it needs to be some stuff.
Well, see, Erica, what the missing link is? Do you trust that man's character? That when he opened his mouth, his best interest is for you. He's not telling you some shit to make you feel bad and put you down and to beat you down. Is he saying something that's going to build you up while giving constructive criticism?
Listen,
those are some of the qualities that you have to look for. And then hold up, let me finish. And then he's not going to bow the knee because you got that thing between your legs, because you know what I mean, you use it as a weapon against him to keep his mouth shut. He's going to stand his ground, challenge you to say, hey, XYZ, you know, and I want you to take you ain't got to agree with it, just take it into consideration.
And y'all know how to use that thing between your legs. That's the cold part.
Yeah, y'all know how to use it between y'all pockets too. So we can go with that. But
I mean, it is shaped like a wallet. But moving on, I got a thing about this, like this feedback, because I really, it's a mind thing for me, and maybe because I'm old and I'm in a different place.
Not old, but
you ain't old. Stop. Talking about you old. You ain't old, man.
I'm older. I'm old enough.
Right? I'm probably the same age that was seasoned. He feels some type of way about being seasoned.
I'm seasoned.
Hey man, hey, I'm proud of this. I'm proud of all of that. I earned it.
I think the women that can't take feedback is unseasoned, and not unseasoned, but you know, just.
I like that.
Not, you know, up here wise, like anybody that can't take feedback. I mean, you could be a 60-year-old man and can't take feedback, right? Or an 80-year-old woman. You know, it's just, that's why I asked, like, what's the background of these people?
Yeah, I mean, but you got these women out here that walks around like they stuff don't stink, you know, and they try to, you know, they try to argue you off for every point that you try to make. You know, it's out here and we see it a lot. It's unfortunately, as men, we have to deal with it a lot.
Yeah,
and it is unfortunate because it make it unfortunate for women that's looking for good men that's out here pissed off women that's crazy. I'm just throw that out there. That's my soapbox.
Yeah, but you know, the problem with that is a lot of them do not become wise because of that. They think that when they look at us, they'll look at us as less than, and look at us like we're not intelligent as they are, because I got a PhD or master's degree or whatever the hell. They think that they got something from school that makes them smarter, which intelligence is not measured by the degrees that you got. Trust me, I've been a recruiter and I know I put some people on a test.
What does it measure?
Try to put them in, and they wasn't smart about it.
What does it measure by?
What the degree is just measured. It's just your accomplishments. It doesn't make you smarter than anybody.
No. What is you being smarter than somebody measured by? Because you say that these women act like they're smarter, like y'all not smart as them, and that they're smarter than y'all. Are you smarter than them because you're a man? I'm trying to figure out.
No, we're not saying that we neither nor smarter or dumb, but we're not acknowledging it that we're not saying, oh, we're smarter than you, or we're not even coming at you like we're the dumb ones. You feel me? Like we're not coming at your brain or anything like that. But y'all come and try our intelligence all the time like we just been some bozos, dumpty dump, just accidentally just fell into wherever situation that we are right now. You get me? And so, and then the problem is our struggles don't ever be acknowledged. All of our accomplishments never be acknowledged. It's more of just oh, you a man, so of course everything is just handed to you, and that's not even an intelligent way of thinking. So when I hear stuff like that, that's when I automatically start being like, man, this person's not really intelligent. This person's doesn't really have depth about themselves. So, and unfortunately, I hear that all the time, and I deal with it all the time. So, and it's been by the opposite sex. So normally, if I have an opinion and if I say, give some type of criticism because of something I noticed, I get what? Attacked for it. I get questioned. Why this and that? If somebody asks me a question about, and I give you the truth of how it is and what's it's going to be like and how it is, I get, why is it like that? It's the way it is. You can't change. It's just like you can't change the way it is. It is like you wanted an answer to a question. I'll give you an answer. And being on this podcast, that happens.
I'm not okay. So listen, I'm not necessarily disagreeing completely with what you're saying, but I do believe that your delivery affects what you're trying to say. It might not be what you're saying, but how you're saying something. So if somebody is constantly saying the way that you're criticizing them or giving creative criticism and they're not taking it in, and they're constantly doing that, then sometimes you should look in yourself and see, can I say it a different way? And if you try to say it a different way and they still receiving it that way, then you need to go back to the drawing board and figure out, is this the type of person that I need to be with? Because
but sometimes
adequate.
But the problem is there's no right or wrong way of saying the truth and keeping it real. You like the keep it real. Don't ask me how you gotta say it. You gotta say it like this to make me feel
in
good,
a softer
like
tone,
that type, in a softer tone, like
that. But even though you do say it differently, some people don't receive it though.
That's what I mean. Like, if they don't receive it, then you need to look back in the drawing board and see if this is the type of person that I need to be with. As far as trait saying that you gonna get it how it's gonna be delivered, that's a problem. That's a bad trait right there.
Right. But some people only receive information at an argumentative state.
That's
what I'm saying.
That's the person that you need to be entertaining. So that automatically, I mean, to me, that goes back on you because you chose to be with this person. So if you felt like that was cute to continue, then you feel like it's cute for that behavior. So you can't keep looking at that person for reacting the same way if you continue to deal with that person.
Right.
My question is this,
but it's just hard to navigate that, especially when you've been dealing with somebody. You just, have to adapt to certain things and compromise and on your end, because, men always have to compromise the most within relationships.
My question is this, right? How come, and this is what I see from a lot of women, okay? I'm not going to say all women, but just a lot of women that I encountered in my life, right? How come, like, as a man, me, when it comes to criticism, since we're talking about criticism, they so freely could just say what they want about me and who I am as a person so freely, right? But I have to give them a certain amount of compliments before I give them before I have to give them a criticism. So I have to be like, hey, you girl, hey, you're such a nice, woman, you aspirational, you just, you're a real strong woman, but sometimes you come off too strong. Instead of me just saying, hey, you're coming off too strong.
Because they're gentle flowers, Trey.
That's because that's part of the narcissism in the female. No. You have to give them some type of admiration before you give them criticism, because if not, they'll be difficult with taking that.
If anyone needs admiration before you give constructive criticism, it's a lot that they need to learn in life.
Or he don't know how to use his words.
Well, it's definitely a way to approach certain things. Not saying that because women are supposed to be soft and gentle and men are supposed to be aggressive, right? Sidebar. Anyway, it is always a way to approach things, and this is like how I tell my sons, like, it's not always about like what you say, it's how you say it to people, whether you're talking to male or female, right? if you just come up to me and we, having a conversation and you say something like sideways, I'm going to wonder, okay, what led to that? Where did that come from? Unless we're discussing a particular thing and you just say, you know what, you be hard-headed sometimes. Okay, well, tell me how. Explain to me. Like, I can take constructive criticism, but if we're going to give it, let's break it down so that behavior can be changed. But if that person can't receive, then that might not be somebody you need to talk to. You need to talk to somebody that can receive what you're putting out. If they can't receive it, then that should be a closed door.
But a lot of times it's received without change behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And if the behavior don't change, it also need to be a closed door.
But you got to go back. You got to go back to what you said at the top of the hour. Is that you don't see all of these traits all at once. They're not clustered all at once. This is over an extended period of time. You won't see this all at once unless you're just really keen. Your discernment is on high alert. But if we're talking about being in relationships here, so these things come out over an extensive period of time. You be like, where the hell this come from? So you know what I mean. It's just not gonna be presto change-up unless you're really spending time with this person. You understanding who you're dealing with and what you're dealing with. You're not gonna see this thing because what we'll do as humans, we'll just, oh, that's just them. You see what I'm saying? They just got attitude issues, or we'll rationalize it. In other words, you see what I'm saying? And make allowances and excuses for it, just not to really educate ourselves to know what we're exactly dealing with. If that makes sense.
It does. I think going back to if we're going back to the relationship part of it, right? I think knowing who we are for self, we'll recognize triggers faster, right? If I've been through a lot in my many years of life and relationship, there may be things that I still don't see, but the red flags is always there. It's just that growing your mental, knowing who you are, knowing what you will take, what you won't take, you start to see things a lot more. Most times red flags are ignored because we're seeing something so superficial that we're attracted to. And we like, he got money, he got a big
all that ass.
She got a big ass, right? It's certain things that we're blinded by, and we're ignoring the fact that we were talking at a movie, or we were having dinner night or something, and he called me a bitch out of the blue, or in a conversation like, man, just stop acting like a bitch.
Damn.
You might be thinking like, boy, shut up, you crazy, right? You ain't think about that. But no, me, hold on, wait, pause. Now, we was having a conversation. I don't know how you meant that B word, or if you meant it to hurt me. You know what I mean? Like, certain flags are there. We just tend to ignore them because of the superficial things.
Yeah.
And behaviors, nothing should be compromised unless it's agreeable to both. When one person begins to compromise on so much, after a while, you get stuck because now you don't know how to get out of it. That's because you didn't know yourself before you got in it.
I think I agree with you. I think a lot of when it comes to narcissists, we do get caught into the superficialness of everything because like what Liana said earlier, like narcissists sometimes are your favorite people. You get me? Right. They like for the dudes, they the flyest ones because they gotta stay fly and fresh. They love themselves. You feel me? They the ones that like as a positive to it too because they want to be the center of attention. So it allows you to just relax and just sit back and just enjoy the show. You get me? So, those type of people, we're drawn to those people. So, because they're so attractive, narcissists is probably the most attractive people in our society because you got to have some type of narcissist trait in order to get to a elevated level in your life. So, that's why I liked what Liana said about it. Like, narcissist is kind of your favorite people, but at the same time, it's a double-edged sword. So it's like now you done got with your favorite person, you the biggest fan of, and now you have to deal with that trait. And so it's one of those things. It's like, and for me, I don't believe that narcissists can change. I just don't believe it. I don't believe that even if you let them know that they're narcissists, I think they'll just embrace that they're a narcissist, and they'll just let you know, hey, I'm a narcissist, so you know you gotta get with it or get lost. That's how that's what I believe that it is. So I think that it's about when it comes to relationships and dealing with a person, it's more of a like, what can you live with? I always say people are annoying, everybody's annoying. You just got to find the person that annoys you the least. So it's like, because you're not going to get the right, you know, you're not going to get the right out of everybody. It's not just going to be just perfect everything. But if you can just take this dude, don't give a damn if you crying about, you know, your puppy getting ran over by a car, and he just like, shit, it's a dog. I can't, you know what I'm saying? If you can take that, if you know, be happy. Sometimes people just got, if you just recognize you dealing with a narcissist and see, can you live with that? Some people can't.
Well, and again too, you just got to make sure that you're not being torn down by this narcissism. Once they start tearing you down as a person and belittling you and you know, running over you, then you know, you got to find a way out. You know, I mean, some people are unfortunately invested, you know, got kids and you know, whole lives built on this, but still, you know, then becomes, you know, abusive and all type of stuff be going on. So you definitely got to recognize it and get out of there before you know, harm starts to happen to yourself, kids, you know.
Most narcissistic like relationship usually have abuse in it, some way, form. Even if it's not physical, it's definitely emotional abuse. And emotional abuse can be just as tormentive as physical abuse. And that's usually the first thing that goes is emotional. If I can break you emotionally, once I start beating your ass, you're not leaving. Because now you're afraid. And I need you to be afraid, because that affirms to me saying that I am who I said I am.
Yeah.
So I build you up, and then I'll take you down. But I'm going to take you down emotionally first. The signs of physical abuse may never be there for 10 years of the relationship. Year number 30 is when he slapped shit at you. And you're like, where did this come from? But it's been signs.
Right.
They just know how to carry it on long enough to where now I know you'll never leave me. Because I really need you more than you need me. I need you because you make me feel like I know that I am the shit.
Right.
I feel like, okay, so Trey, I don't like what you said. The narcissist can't change. I don't agree with that. I feel like with them being exposed to the right type of relationship for people, that it could be changed. Even somebody that's abusive, like I feel like, and one thing I don't feel like just because you are verbally abusive, emotionally abusive, or all the other ones, that it will lead into physical abuse. But if it has led into physical abuse, there's other abuses that came before that. But sometimes it could be other abuse, but it's not gonna lead to physical. I'm not saying that you said that.
Right.
I feel like certain people bring out certain things out of people. Like there's some people that have been abusive to certain people, but then they might get with somebody else, and that's not something that they're going to do. That person brought something out different in them, where that's not something that they even decided it's, I don't know, that it's attractive that they want to do. So I feel like the same way with the narcissist, you might meet somebody that those traits that you had that you was doing, you're exposed to something that's healthy and different, that you be like, you know what, those type of things don't even apply in this relationship. So I feel like there are those type of people can change. I'm gonna say that from personal experience. I'm saying I was a fucking narcissist. Do I got narcissist traits? Hell yes.
Was a narcissist?
Yes. Yes. And with the right person, if I feel like they a weak-minded individual or something like that, with them narcissist traits come out more heightened than somebody else, possibly. So I know for me, I need an alpha male. I can't deal with somebody that's a beta male, because them traits might be heightened. My ex, God bless him, he got to see some of them narcissistic traits, but it was stuff that he did that triggered some of them traits to come out. I'm not saying that he deserved the shit. I'm not saying that. I have that I don't even feel that need to be like that with. Like, I'm not about to argue with you. We're not about to be cussing. When we get into a disagreement, we're going to talk about how you feel, how I feel. We're going to come to a common ground. Some other people, that behavior just, it wasn't I feel the need to do the shit. So I feel
like I believe in relationships, you gotta know who you are first.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Because, you know what I'm saying? Like, you get with someone and you don't know who you are, then the real you start coming out, then the person feel like you change. And that's even with, like, you know, the other side is know thyself first. Yeah, grow the hell up within self and know that if I can handle this, I can handle it. And if I can't, don't wait until year 52 to decide, I don't think this is for us.
Yeah, and I feel like too. I feel like, okay, so for me, I know myself and I'm who I am from the beginning to the end. However, you may not see some things in the, like, how I'm gonna say this, like, I'm a nice person, but if you trigger me, you do some shit that I don't like, I'm gonna tell you. Now, how I'm gonna tell you, I don't know. It depends on the situation. It might depend on how I feel. But if you doing things and we're not getting to that point, you're never gonna see that. But if you do some shit that I don't know, maybe some disrespectful shit, you gonna see that side that you like, damn. But you should know and how I am that I'm cool, but I don't take no bullshit. It don't mean that you know what that looks like, but you should, like how the kid said, you should see them traits. And it may not, sometimes it's red flags, a lot of them are red flags, but you should see them traits where if this happened, this person might react like that. You may not see it in the beginning, but you should already know, like, she ain't the one to fool with. I'm gonna keep it cool, but she ain't that person, and that's me. So, and I agree with that. The people who date me, they need to know themselves, because if they mess with me and they don't know themselves, it's not gonna last long, and they may crumble. I don't know. So you gotta head up.
Well, what about you, Lena? What are some of your narcissistic traits, Lena?
You know what? I just focus on somebody that focuses on me, but I'm so two-way street though. Like, I'm super empathetic. I'm not the perfect person, don't get me wrong, but like I feel like I'm a good companion to any of my friends, relationships, anything, because I tailor myself to someone because I know what it feels like to not be seen, heard, whatever the case is. But at the same time, I feel like when I'm played with, then I can play with you too. You know what I mean? That's just what it is.
Well, so you have to have alpha males too as well?
Definitely. Because I'm an alpha female. Like, I for sure I am. I know that about myself. So if somebody's not, dominant enough, it is not like on purpose, but subconsciously, we as humans, we could just take advantage of a situation, or we might just, just see and test the waters with somebody and see what you can do. And I'm not saying in a bad way necessarily, but something that could just benefit me. It might not hurt them, but it's still going to benefit me more.
Well, let me jump on this before you say something big. You said you're an alpha female?
I would think so.
I would think it might be beneficial for you to date a beta male.
No.
I'm going to tell you why. Because there can only be one. You feel me? There can only be one alpha. There's no such thing as two alphas in a relationship. There's an alpha and a beta. There can only be one. And if it's a male that's an alpha, I'm going to tell you, he on top of that mountain, he not letting you on top of that mountain with him. There's no alpha and beta. It's one alpha. So that's why I say it might be better for you to date with, to mess with a beta. Yeah, you can see like Erica saying she ain't with it. Look, she trying to I'm trying to give. Let me give you my skill.
Hasn't tried it yet.
Because I've tried it, not on purpose. I've tried it with the males and not on purpose. That shit do not fucking work.
Well, so will you be comfortable with being a beta female then? Will you be comfortable with? Will you be comfortable of stepping down?
Listen to what I was about to say. Just because I'm an alpha female does not mean I need to take leadership. That doesn't mean I'm an alpha. There's nothing wrong with that. I could be an alpha female and deal with an alpha male and still allow him to be, not allow him, but still, he could still be in leadership role. Does not mean I'm a leader.
You ever think that maybe you're a beta just looking for an alpha? Do you ever think you're just a beta looking for an alpha?
Me?
Yeah. Both of you. Y'all ever think that y'all just betas looking for alphas? Because
maybe you try to put on the front that you're an alpha.
We getting off topic here.
No, we're not.
Alpha and beta is not the most important thing here. Are you masculine or are you feminine? at the end of the day.
That conversation because it goes into it's gonna hit a point and we having an understanding. We're not having an argument. We're having a conversation.
Right.
So with the you done fucked up my goddamn thought. Bro. I was on fucking roll.
Beta.
No, with a beta male. Oh no, I'm saying with you see me
you're
on
a beta
this
woman.
20, you feel like I'm a beta female?
I believe all women are betas.
No,
looking
you
for an
you
alpha.
Feel like you
I think you're feminine.
I mean, if you want to be a feminine,
you got a thick head, man.
Nah,
I mean, look, that's if you by yourself, yeah, you alpha, you gotta do your thing, you gotta move. But when you want to get it with an alpha male, you gotta step down. Now, if you don't want to step down, get with a beta man. If you're not comfortable stepping down, get with a beta man. That's all I'm saying. So if you're a true alpha woman, you should not have a problem getting with a beta man. But if you have a problem being with a beta man, then you're not an alpha woman. You are a beta looking for an alpha.
I don't think you understand what an alpha female is. I think that you're saying that as an insult, and I feel like
I'm not. Yeah, you're saying it as an insult.
Maybe you're a beta male that isn't in.
The reason why I brought it up is because I was just wondering, do you think, a female that says that they alpha can handle a narcissistic man?
They probably can. They probably it depends on what, I don't know. Depends on what they're willing to deal with. Because just because you are an alpha female does not mean that you dealing with a narcissist is something that's okay. You might not want to deal with somebody like that. It's conflict, and having to deal with somebody like that is compromising to have to deal with somebody like that. So no, some people that's not a compatibility.
I agree.
Somebody that's a female may be okay with that.
I agree.
I agree with look at these relationships out here, like Kim and Kanye, or what's his name, Blueface or whatever his name is.
We can't talk about them. I talk to a drug.
I'm just saying.
No,
crazy.
We cannot
crazy.
Talk about them.
Crazy.
But they dealt with them. So
no, but even
I don't think an alpha anybody can deal with a narcissist anything.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of in the concept of like alpha female, alpha male, right? And I think that's the definition of someone being like a leader, ambitious, headstrong, but not in a sense of like a cocky way of like, it's my way or the highway, right? I understand as far as like, I don't like define myself like as an alpha female, or I just define myself as a headstrong woman. I know what I want. I know what I'm looking for. I know what I ain't gonna tolerate, right?
A woman with boundaries,
which I don't have. Facts, boundaries.
There you go.
And never had a problem with being with, I don't know what a beta male is, but whatever, an alpha male, and being submissive. A lot of people have a problem with that word, but we're going to that. But I think just an alpha female, if we want to say, can be with the alpha male, because like Swag said, there's nothing wrong with him being in leadership or being the head or, being in control. And I do what I need to do as the woman in the relationship. He does what he needs to do as the male in the relationship. Now, if we start bumping heads, that's not an alpha problem. That's a personality and poor characteristics and bad behavior problem. It has nothing to do with you being ambitious or a leader or headstrong.
Right.
Perfect. Thank you.
That's
for that.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
Now,
listen to that, Trey.
Oh, I listen to it, but I'm gonna tell you my opinion. If we down this alpha female, alpha male road, I don't really like the term alpha female, because the problem I have with that is it means that you just like being masculine, like you like being a man or something. Like men are masculine and female are feminine. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't get why you don't want to be feminine. I'm just not understanding it. But hey, if you want to be the man in the relationship, I just say, look, check this out. I'm just giving you the way to be happy. If you want to be an alpha and you want to lead, the alphas is the leaders, right? If you want to be a lead, get with a beta man that's going to allow you to lead. I don't see the problem in that.
Here's the thing, because you're not an alpha female. That's why. So
I hope I'm not an alpha female. I hope I'm a guy. Last time I checked,
say that again, Lakia.
there's things that a woman can lead that a man can't lead in a relationship, and vice versa.
Right.
I believe that.
And the thing
So that
about
doesn't
like
make her a beta. It doesn't make him a beta either. It just that's that particular part that she's spearheading.
Right.
well, when it comes to, I'm just gonna say this: when it comes to relationships, there's a person that's leading and there's another person that's being led. Okay, and then but the leader will put responsibilities on that person that's being led as well, because a real leader see the value out of everybody that they leading. You get me? So it's not the fact that like a leader also could take a back seat to certain things. Like, okay, I'm not strong at this, so I'm gonna let my partner lead the way on this particular thing. Doesn't mean that person's not the leader of the relationship. It just means that certain things that person allows to lead. So now when it comes to alpha, beta, I really don't like that term, but since
You don't know what it is. That's why you don't like the term. You need to
no, I don't like. Can I say
Okay.
my stuff, please? Because this is the problem right here. Okay, this
you
is the problem.
She just
Because
said.
you disagreeing with something. I don't even get why you even disputing this when
This
I'm
is
talking
the
about leadership.
This the narcissistic
This is a
coming out of
narcissistic
Trey.
trait right here. You got to stop being a narcissist. Go get some therapy, narcissist.
Bullshit.
No, it's not bullshit. It's about leaders and leadership. You get me?
No, you don't.
It's about
understand.
It's about traits and leadership. Okay.
Look, this is what I
Now-
want to say because Lakia brought up a great point.
Let me finish my point first before you go throw yours in there.
She's talking around the corner. Come on.
God dang. I had a whole point. I had a whole thing. I was having a whole monologue here. And you want to jump in and disagree when I'm talking about leaderships.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
And we talking about alpha and beta here. Okay. You see, that's why you need a beta. Because you can't deal with an alpha. Because the alpha's not finna let you just go and talk over them and just do what you want to do. You ain't finna be out of control from no alpha.
I feel
But
like
that's a behavior thing.
That's a behavior.
It's not
It's
not
what
an
I'm
alpha
saying.
or beta
But what I'm
thing. That's just
He's
But
a,
what I'm
he's a
saying
beta.
is-
That's the problem. You sound like
But-
I feel like you're a beta that wants to be an alpha, and you are intimidated by alpha females. I think that you don't know that. First of all, I really don't think you know the definitions of them. Just like
Oh,
what you were
okay.
saying about the submissive word, some people take that like it's offensive. That's because they don't understand what that word means.
Oh, okay.
Taking a alpha female offensively because you don't even know what that means.
What
So
I
you-
mean by alpha female
I
is
know that.
there's a leader and there's one to be led. Now, what's an alpha female to you? What is your definition of
Look
being an
up
alpha?
the definition. It's not my definition. Let's
No,
look it up.
what's your? I want to hear the definition from your mouth.
I don't want to argue bullshit with you. Let's look it up. Go ahead and talk about something. I'll come back. Commercial break. I'll come back.
I want you guys to please like the video and get into the comments now. You know, because she's looking up what's the alpha female. And D Right Cake says, like she said earlier, it was Adam's fault. He was the leader. Then why not now? So the thing about alpha and beta, okay, because since we on that subject now, you know, we gotta, you know, it's about leadership. Who the leader and who's gonna be led. Now, if you don't want to be led, then get with somebody you can lead. That's all I'm saying. If you don't want to take criticism, get with somebody you can criticize. That's all I'm saying. If you cannot take it, don't deal with it. If you can't take the heat, don't even go into the kitchen. Walk away from the kitchen. That kitchen ain't for you. If you want an alpha male, and that alpha male's gonna stand on for himself, you can call people what you want to do. They don't give a damn. And like me, yes, I'm an alpha man. I'm gonna stand on it. I stand on what I am. I am who I am. I can't change who I am. I stand on what I believe in. I stand up for everybody. I took a lot of L's in my life because I stand on what I stand on. So if you can't deal with that, you gotta just deal with somebody who's not like that. Just deal with somebody who's not like that. It's no problem with you saying, "Oh, I can't deal with a beta male." Why, if you a leader, why are you mad that you want to lead somebody? If you feel like you want to lead, get with a man that you can lead.
Did I say that one time? Everybody on the
you said you were alpha, right?
I wanted to lead my man. Did I say I wanted to lead my man? Anybody?
No, I'm saying you said you were alpha, right?
Oh, did I say? Listen to the words, Trey. Did I say I wanted to lead my man?
So if you don't want to lead your man, then you're not alpha.
Yes or no?
If you don't want to lead, then you're not alpha.
Let me, you know what? Let's clarify this. So here's the real definition of an alpha female based on the latest research. Alpha female, a woman who has embraced her leadership ambition. She is talented, highly motivated, and self-confident.
Yes.
So that's the word. It says nothing about having to lead anybody. There's leaders who are able to be led by another leader. And whether we're females or males, just because you are a leader does not mean that you cannot be led. I think that you're misconstrued in that. I really feel like maybe either you're a beta, maybe that, or maybe you have met some females that were alpha females who you were intimidated by. So you need to look deep into that. But just because a female is an alpha female does not mean she cannot be led. There's plenty of alpha females that are out here that you have met or you have seen that is capable of being led. I think you don't know the definition of it, just like how Lakia was saying about the word submission. People don't know the definition of it, so they don't like it. They don't understand it, so they are disgusted. It's like you cussing at them by saying it. But if they understood what submissive really was, then they probably would be okay with that. So if you understood what an alpha female was, then you will understand that that's what it is. Maybe you want to, maybe you are an alpha male, and you want a beta female, and that's fine. That's fine.
I mean, yeah, I want beta females. I don't. But that's me personally. That's me personally. What I'm saying is, this is what I'm saying. Okay, you just read something that I totally agree with. There's no disputing that. I wasn't disputing that. I'm saying if you're a quote unquote alpha female, you're going to have, if you want to get with an alpha male, that means you're going to have to step down. That means you're not the leader. You won't be the leader. And if you don't want to be the leader, then be the beta. That's all I'm saying. So if you don't want to be the leader, that means you don't want to be the alpha.
You cannot be a beta and an alpha. You just cannot.
Exactly.
Me as a person in general, I'm an alpha female. So if I enter a relationship, I don't change that in my relationship. I'm still alpha. So if I had to take leadership role because something happened to my man, I am capable of that. But I am able to step down and let him be able to lead me. Just because you're a leader does not mean you're incapable of being led. Even if how you say you feel like you're alpha male, you can be led by another alpha male. If it comes down to business or something else, just because you're a leader does not mean you're incapable of that. I don't know where your definitions don't understand what that is.
I'm talking about for relationships.
It's the same thing. You're a leader, and you can be led by another leader. I'm a leader, and I can be
in business.
Different.
In business, is a structure.
Led by a leader.
In this business, is more of a structure. Like if your job is a leadership role. Then
I'm not talking about a job.
We talking about leadership, we talking about business. That's why I said we're talking about relationships. In relationships, there's only, there's a leader and there's the led. You feel me? That's just how it goes. If not, it's going to be chaos. It can't be two leaders or it'll be chaos. It'll be chaotic and it'll be always back and forth and bickering. And there'll be no synergy.
Just because I am an alpha female does not mean that I have to be the leader in that relationship. You got that?
So that means you don't want to be an alpha. It means you want to be a beta.
It's not a one. You can't.
He said that's so soft.
Go ahead.
Want to be a beta?
Huh?
I'm just picking.
I hear what you said though.
Oh no, I said he said that soft. He just want to be a beta.
Like beta females, and that's okay. I feel like you are a beta.
Oh man, I love beta females. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I love beta females.
You like to be able to.
I got a question. So what's a beta female?
Somebody that takes that. Somebody that
No, look up the definition.
My leadership.
it to him, please, because he don't even know the definition
To
of
me,
alpha.
somebody that trusts my leadership. Don't look. You didn't know. For one thing, I just said what an alpha is, and then you read the same thing. Don't say I don't know
No,
something
you
when I
don't
just
know
told
what
you
an
the
alpha
same
is.
thing.
You don't
It
know
don't
what
even
alpha
make sense.
female
Why are you
is.
saying that? And
You
then when
don't
I
know what
talk,
alpha female is, just like you gave her the wrong
that,
definition.
look,
of
check
beta
this out.
female.
Check
You
this
gave
out.
her
We
the wrong
gonna have to nit this in the bud right now. When somebody's talking to me,
Next.
allow me to talk back to them. Why are you arguing every word I say? She could ask me what's the color of the sky, and I say it's blue. You start arguing with it. She's talking to me. You start saying, "Oh, he don't." That's
Okay, well, then
that's
talk back to
offensive
her. You
and
don't
that's
need to address me.
disrespectful. I'm not disrespecting you, and now you try my
You feel like
intelligence.
I'm
Don't disrespect me, because I'm not disrespecting you. I'm not.
Okay,
I'm a.
you feel disrespected.
Nah, we all about yes, because you're disrespecting me. Now you
So,
try my intelligence.
back
Don't
onto
disrespect me.
narcissism.
What did you do?
Back onto narcissism.
I apologize for your feelings of being
The topic is
disrespectful.
narcissism.
Sorry that I rubbed those feelings in.
And in that little discussion, I seen a lot of traits of narcissism going back and forth.
Yeah, I told you I am.
A lot of traits.
I stand on that.
All right. Anyway, so
it's all about
Yolanda,
identifying
The feelings in the room.
Yes.
Nah,
His feelings are sore. I don't feel disrespected. I
that's
don't even feel upset. He's very upset. It's the beta in him.
Okay, Miss Kiato. So what was the question you was asking me before we was rudely interrupted?
I had looked up the definition myself. Wow.
Thank you.
So I'm just assuming from what I'm reading, it says I didn't like this, and it says a beta female is subordinate to an alpha female, but I didn't like that because that makes no sense to me. But if I look up the definition of beta, it says beta is friendly, likes to be helpful, always tries to avoid conflict, and wants to fit in. If I'm trying to compare that to like a relationship, I guess I almost look at that as being docile. Like I just take whatever. I definitely ain't that because I'm not taking no. But that's why I guess I don't classify or call myself like an alpha female. I just know what I stand firm in. I know what I won't take. I know what I've been through. I know who I've worked to be. And I know what I'm not going to allow somebody to take me back down to. So, and I don't have a problem with, I definitely don't want a soft dude, right? I don't want him to be weak. I need him to be strong because damn it, I want to be weak. I've been strong for many years. I need to be weak a little bit. So I don't have a problem with being submissive, right? Sub to the mission, like not submissive where he tells me what to do, how to eat, when to sleep. That's not submission, right? But I also know that who I am as a headstrong woman and know what I want and desire and how I want things to go in my life. Don't have a problem with leading when I need to and being led when I need to.
Right.
Alpha, beta, omega, sci-fi, whatever, right? It's male, female, what y'all roles are in the relationship. And just because these roles fit you don't mean that these particular roles have to fit somebody. Because you may, well, I don't know, because y'all saying alpha males can't be led. You might have an alpha man that like for a woman to do certain things. It's just whatever roles you like to have in your relationship. What's good for the goose ain't always good for the gander.
True.
And that's the thing that disturbs me about our approach to relationship is that we try to couple in a one size fit all type of story or narrative for relationship. And so, those are the things that we have to be aware of. So, that's that.
All right, please like the video. Getting these comments. Let's see. What she says, just like I will be a narcissist when it comes to our anniversary, but when you get me upset because others are first than the person that lives in the same house, it upsets. So yeah, like when it comes to narcissists, like I get what she's saying, like being a narcissist when it comes to your certain things that you care about, but narcissist and selfish are two different things. You might be selfish for a certain thing. You get me? But narcissist is more of it's a trait that a person possesses that they have to live with. It is
opposite. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's one of those traits, like a personality trait that a person might have got over time just growing up. You feel me? And that's just who they are. Now I think when it comes to being a narcissist, sometimes people got to recognize it. That way they can build on that. So that way they can, they don't let their narcissism run away with them. I don't believe that they can change, but I believe that they can suppress. You get me? I think that because I think we like to throw out the baby with the bathwater. We we'll say this narcissist does these things like abuse emotionally and all that stuff, because we'll go so extreme narcissist does those things. But if those people recognize who they are and what their traits is, they can suppress those things, so that way they don't fly out of the handle. So, but that's just my opinion about it.
Yeah, I want to say this thing too. Narcissist is a personality, like a diagnosable personality disorder. It's a problem. It's not just this person is manipulative, or this person is abusive, or this person has these it does equal with like certain traits and characteristic and behavior, but it's a problem. So that's why I feel like it can be changed with help, right? And they have to recognize I have a problem. But usually because of them wanting to be so filled with admiration, it's hard for them to, they refuse to recognize that, right? It's a personality disorder. It's a problem. Right. It's not just, I'm narcissistic because I'm going to tell you what to do and you're going to listen. And I'm going to manipulate you, and I want you to admire me all the time. And some of those are just behaviors, right? It doesn't mean that they're a narcissistic personality disorder, right? Yeah, that's just my therapy 2 cents.
All right.
So basically what you're saying is if you're not one characteristic don't make you narcissist.
To be diagnosed, right, like real narcissistic personality disorder, you got to exhibit a certain amount of these characteristics or behaviors in order to be diagnosed as a narcissist. But we use that term loosely, right? Like, I think it's all about me, so I'm a narcissist. No, you're just selfish. You're just self-centered, right? Exactly. But there's certain things that is excessive or grandiose with these characteristic traits. And I mean excessive.
Right. And I see a lot of people try to classify people like that set boundaries within their relationships, what they're going to stand for and not stand for. And they try to say that's controlling them, and now you're narcissist because you're trying to control me because now you got these boundaries up that I can't get over. I can't run over you. Now you're a narcissist. No, I'm not a narcissist. I just got boundaries, and I'm gonna stand on my, stand.
And then people use manipulation to make you not use your boundaries, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. That doesn't make them a narcissist though, because they know how to manipulate you to not stand with your boundaries. They just good at manipulating.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. Lethal Logic says, look, don't woman want a man in control? Why do you confuse it with being controlling? No, why do they confuse it with being controlling?
It depends on how you define it, as far as like being in control and controlling.
Because they don't, I feel like they don't know, like she's saying, some people try to classify you as this off of one trait. That's why they try to say it's control.
It's just like a narrative that's portrayed loosely here recently. It's like men are emotionally unavailable, especially when you have a disagreement in a relationship, and then we're more so logical. You guys are more so emotional, and so a lot of times there's an overlap because when we're trying to have a conversation to hash out, to come to some kind of agreement or conclusion. And when we exert logic and rationale to bring about some clarity, because when you're in the height of your feelings as a woman, it's kind of hard to accept what's being said from us a lot of times. And so it'll come off as we're not listening. You don't understand where I'm coming from. And a lot of projection will be there because, okay, at that moment we're hurt. So at that time we will say things to what? Shame each other or guilt each other or to, you know what I mean, make each other feel bad, where it creates these triggers where it escalates into things and wordplay that don't necessarily have to be, because the thing is, this is about conclusion. It goes back to what I said earlier. If you know that I have your best interest at heart and vice versa, we shouldn't have to use these tactics. You see what I'm saying? What I say to you within the confines of this relationship and vice versa shouldn't come off as we seeing each other as each other's enemies. And so, you know what I mean? If we're not deciphering that, what will end up happening is that it will be a lot of blame shifting and finger pointing. Right. And we will never come to some kind of conclusion.
I'm thinking about what Lethal Logic said about don't women want a man in control. I guess when I'm thinking about that, the definition of control, right? I think men and women should want each other in control. In control meaning like of their emotions and behaviors and actions and stuff like that, right? Not in control where you're controlling me. That's when it becomes controlling. Like we all should be in control of like who we are, our personalities and characteristics and all that stuff, right? But I think maybe you're asking like, do women want men to lead? Because men and women supposed to be in control of themselves, because we're not to control each other.
Right.
Humans aren't to be controlled.
Right.
You control and contain yourself.
Oh, right. You see, he also said, is that because women go off on their emotions?
An immature woman goes off on her emotions.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So when does it take for a woman to mature and stop living off of the emotions? Like when's that age when it happens? Like, or is it something
45?
Ain't no age.
45.
You can have a young woman that's in her 20s and be in control of her emotions. It's because she had wisdom imparted into her life of like, hey, don't act like that. That's not good behavior. But you can have a woman that's 67 and still ghetto as hell and have no control.
Right.
It has nothing to do with age. That's just how you can have a man out here 80 and still making kids with 70 women. Like they're not in control of themselves. There's no age on maturity.
Right.
He says, then why does your father walk you down the aisle to give you to the man?
Tradition.
Oh. And to be under his name in the world.
Now we're going through like ritual religious type.
Yeah, he's just asking like, okay, so yes, that's a tradition, but why is that the tradition? Like what made that the tradition that it takes a father to walk the woman down the aisle and give the woman away to another man? And when that woman gets married, she takes that man's name. So what makes that the tradition?
I don't know where the tradition came from. I mean, I was married and I took my husband's last name, but I knew as of what I learned in the world, that's what we do. When you get married, the woman takes the man's name, not because it was, I better do it because that's what I'm supposed to do. I mean, I learned it as tradition. I don't think it's anything bad or wrong with it. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know where the tradition came from.
I mean, like, so in saying that, so do you know what the symbolism of that tradition means?
Well, we're taking the man's name.
Well, like the father
father
walking
walking.
the bride down the aisle, and the woman taking the man's name.
As far, well, I'm thinking more so like, the father is saying that this man, I believe, is deemed capable of taking care of my daughter the way
Right.
that I feel like she should be taken care of. So I'm allowing. I don't like the word allow, because it sounds so
Hmm.
archaic.
It's
Um, but lack of a better term, I'm allowing this young man now to take care of my daughter and be
right.
the leader of, or lead her and
Her
create a
either way.
family.
Yes. Yes. That's what
Or
the
transference
symbolism is.
of authority.
Yeah. So like
Cover.
that symbolism really, like you said, it came through the leadership of a family. So like for that bride's whole life, she was under the leadership of her father in her father's family.
Yeah.
So the in part of the vetting process, that's why the man has to ask the father for his hand in marriage, because that man has to evaluate that the father has to evaluate the man to see if that man is capable of leading his daughter the right way and taking care of his daughter. Because like the woman is, like, I always look at them as like a precious resource that we have in this earth, and those are things that has to be taken care of and cherished. As men, we the ones that got to take the brunt of the stuff to make sure that you are good. So the father, he spends his whole life taking all of the brunt of the shit just to make sure that the flower is not bruised. His daughter, future bride, and he wants to make sure that when he passes that flower on, it will not be bruised under under this new man's watch. So really, that's what the symbolism is when it came to walking uh down the aisle. Is like giving the way the bride, and then her having and and for the sake of her having his name, is because like the leader of the family. This is the Jones. He's a Jones, so this is the Jones family. This is the ownership. This is the family that we're finna have. So now you might have been a Walker, but now you are Jones because now you're under the leadership of Peter Jones, and so now we're the Jones family now. So
I definitely get that. I wasn't understanding, like, I guess too, when I be reading questions,
mhm.
like if it's just kind of like small, I'm looking for the motive of the question.
Right.
Right.
Have it. So I wasn't,
Right.
I couldn't answer it because I didn't understand like where that question was coming or where it was going, or like
Yes.
what you were looking for. But yeah, I mean, I get that.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And he also, this is what he says. He was like, look, men have always been the provider and the protector. Why are we changing that in 2022? Why is being in control of my relationships considered as narcissistic? My as in the man's.
But it shouldn't be considered narcissist.
I don't think having control in a relationship or leading the relationship is what we mean by narcissistic and being narcissistic. I think it's like what we said before, is having that lack of empathy and not really, because you making everything about you all the time, and you not even, because being the thing about being a leader is not, leaders recognize that it's not about that person all the time. Leaders actually care and empathize, those type of traits that narcissist doesn't have, which you have to care, empathize, and actually empower the person that you're leading. It's a and give up control. See, people think that being a leader is you got to have all the control. It's really delegating the control as well. It's like, hey, I'm not, in understanding their strengths and weakness. The leader is good about that. It's about, okay, I'm not strong in this, so maybe this person is strong in this, and I'm going to empower you in this, and it's okay. It's okay for you to do that. But the problem with being a narcissist is everything they got to be controlled. It's all about me. I'm me. I'm perfect. And a proper leader understands that nobody's perfect, not even the leader. So that's why we're having this episode about narcissism, because we're getting it confused with being a leader as a man, and being a narcissist is not meaning you're a leader as a man. And see, Black Jack says women never want us to hang with the boys. Always think she's right. Sees no wrong in anything that she does, or says most women is narcissistic. In fact, I mean it's a fact. So, like I said, when it comes to narcissism, there's some traits that are more female. There's the more traits that are more male.
Yeah.
No.
Both male and female can be narcissists. It's just been typically diagnosed in men because women have more of emotional traits that go, I guess, underdiagnosed with narcissism, but male and female.
Okay, so when we say like men, they're mostly diagnosed with it.
Yeah.
Does that mean? Does it mean that there's more diagnosed through the even amount of men or women, or is it that it's more men that's out seeking help versus women going out seeking help?
Because women, well, no one's going to seek a therapist to like say,
Right.
"Hey, am I a narcissist?"
Right.
Right. It's just that comes out in certain instances, and mainly, well, I can't say mainly because I don't know all the statistics, right? But I'm thinking like in relationships, like relationship therapy. We'll find that the man in certain relationships are like narcissists. So I don't have like a statistical book right now, but just what I've learned in school that men are just more diagnosed. And I think it's just because of those reasons. Women may be diagnosed with something else, but
Lakia, let me ask you this here. Here recently, haven't you heard the term covert narcissism? Have you heard it?
I feel like I have. It's just not ringing a bell at the moment.
Okay. Because more so, these are some of the traits that they say that are described and diagnosed in women. It's the covert style. It's not overt. It's not just in your face.
Okay.
It's more subtle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's when they got you locked in, then they take control. Ain't that right, Erica?
I just don't understand how guys or people in general get locked into these relationships where that happens, because I feel like they're not doing the work to understand who they're actually dating.
Yeah, you know, people jump into relationships too soon and don't really, you know, do the work like you said and try to get to know somebody and let people get out that phase and see who they really is. They jump into it thinking, you know, just because he stuck something in me, now you mine. And,
exactly. Yeah. And that's why I could never really get behind when people be like they could just jump in and get married within like 6 months, because I'd be like, man, you don't even know who that person is until like a good year into being with that person. Like really, you don't really know that person until you like together for about 2 years before you start really seeing like, you know, before you really, you know, the habits and all those type of things, you know. So it take a couple of years to really, but especially like dealing with a narcissist, you know. But the thing, the beauty of narcissists, they do show their red flags early in the game. So you just gotta just stay, you know, keep your ears to the ground and really pay attention.
I don't think it takes years to know, like, if you want to be with someone and marry them. It takes a lifetime to learn someone.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the reason why, like, if you're getting married, you have to be prepared to be in and out of seasons for the rest of your life. Right. Because no one stays the same. And you shouldn't want that person to stay the same. Everybody grows and mature. And if one person is growing and maturing and the other one isn't, that causes conflict in the relationship. It don't take that long to know someone, right? If you know yourself and know what you will and will not tolerate. And actually pay attention to the red flags that are given, because red flags are there. We just choose to either see them or ignore them and either tolerate or not tolerate, right? So for someone to just say like, you know, well, we're getting married in 6 months, if they are sure about who they are and that person is sure about who they are, like y'all are on one accord, and we ain't talking about like some third world ghetto. You know what I'm saying? Like young minded person. I'm talking about like healthy, mature adults, right?
Okay.
Knowing what they want in life and setting goals and boundaries and for both, right? It doesn't take that long, right? But it takes a lifetime to learn someone because we're forever changing. Who I was last week is not who I am today. And who I'm going to be next month is going to be somebody different. For one, I'm going to lose me some weight and change. No, I'm just playing. So we're always changing and growing. But if you with somebody that you look up and it's a year and they still own the same old blame game or, you know, some type of drama, you didn't watch that before you stayed with that person for 2 years.
Right. Well, you know what? You just made a good point there. And that's why I'm glad I got you here, you know. It's all about perspective, you know. I didn't think of that perspective. That is a good perspective. So it's like what season you are in your life. And depending on the season you are, it depends on how long it may take to get to a person, or you might be sure. So, you know, that's a very, very good way of thinking about things. Now, Lethal Logic says, because society has told men they must be with a one woman, so they must be with one woman. I think we are in a society where, you know, I don't think that's a society type of thing, more of a like just people thing. You know, that's how we are as humans. We like to pair up. You know, we really don't like to share with another person. You know, because
I mean, some societies tell you that, you know, being with having 7 wives is a thing. I've been watching some stuff on Hulu that'll blow your mind. They got several wives and children's and sister wives and carrying on. It just depends on if you're going to be with somebody that wants that. You can't be in a monogamous relationship. Well, having someone that wants to be in a monogamous relationship, but you want polygamy. That's not going to work. You need to find somebody that desires to be in that. And then don't get mad if that person decides to leave you because you want to have extra people in a relationship. That's not what they're looking for. That goes back to what I said. Know what you want before you get into something. Well, you're going to look up 30 years, getting slapped upside the head. Like,
where the hell I been? What's going on in my life? Oh, Cletus won't stop farting in the bed. It says that men don't have choices like that. Men settle a lot.
Women settle a lot too.
I don't like that word settle. Say compromise. I like the word compromise a little bit more. Kings and emperors always had multiple women. Shit, I haven't met a woman who never been cheated on yet. That's true. So I never met a man that ain't been cheated on. So hey, you know, that's how it is. People like the variety is the zest of life. You get me? Said I got married after 6 weeks and got divorced 12 years later. So, okay, that's heavy. 6 weeks and then divorced 12 years later. So it lasted about a good, 12 years. But, still ended in divorce.
Or it could have ended within 6 years and 6 years was tacked on because now I'm not saying, I don't know, but that happens too. Like someone is, married, family, and you hold on because of certain things. That doesn't justify, but it happens. Like, some people really believe in marriage. Like that's what they want. And they want to make it work and maybe afraid to leave. Not that anybody is being abused or nothing like that, but
what up, Ree? Need you come back on the pod.
You just don't want to end it. And then you look up and realize 12 years now is like, shit, I should have ended this shit 6 years ago.
Right.
But there's kids involved. You don't want your kids to be stressed out. Oh.
Yeah. We said it was a death that ended us. We had her on the show a couple episodes ago. She talked about, how things ended. You feel me? But,
the last straw.
The last straw. But, like, he said,
I feel that.
I'm there just to let me know. But, I do believe, but I agree with you. Some people take time. It depends on the season. It depends on the right season. It depends on the right person. I always, but like I said, when it comes to being together, I don't like the word settle. Like I believe compromise, because settle means that you're not exactly what I'm looking for, but I'll take you anyway. You're not exactly what I want, but I'll take you anyway. But if you like, you know what? If you drill down to the main things that you are looking for, and take off all that bullshit that bullshit superficial things that you think that you're looking for, you will still find yourself happy in a good long-term happy relationship, because you have compromised all of those vain BS stuff that maybe society has put in your brain to what you think that you want, and really drill down to the things that you need. There's a lot of wants in the world, but there's not a lot of needs in the world. You know what I'm saying? There's not really too much that we need out here. A lot of stuff that we're doing, we just want it. But there's not a lot of stuff that we actually like. We need food, water, and shelter. You know what I'm saying? We need love, affection, and attention. Those are the things that we need. But wanting rock hard, solid abs, somebody that can, like, real braggadocious people, all those type of things, like clout, woolly bags, what have you. Those are all wants. But that's why I don't like the word settle, because settle means you're not getting what you need. You're just settling. Like you just
Said I think of like sediments, right? Like if you shake a bottle of water that's got sand in it, the sand is gonna settle to the bottom. It's gonna weigh it down. It's heavy. It's murky. It's not good down there, right? That's how I look at like settling. It's nothing good in settling.
I feel like a lot of men do end up settling, or I feel like this. I don't know if a lot of men do, but I hear in their conversations about we were in this relationship, and I just seen she's always nagging. She don't give me peace, and these things didn't come up in the beginning, but now they're coming up now. I think that they don't know what it is that they're looking for, and they don't know what it is that they deserve and who they are as a person. So in return, they're settling, and then they end up with this person that they ultimately did not want to be with.
Well, we can't get it confused with compromising either, though.
Well, how are you compromising your peace? Because as a man,
but we already know as men, we not gonna get peace. So then we want it. No, we're compromising. This person is a genuinely good person. You know what I'm saying? All the other, check marks check off, and now this is one thing I have to compromise with. Yeah, she got a mouth on her, but she's taking care of business. She's doing what she need to do. We good. I may trigger her.
That might be a deal breaker for someone else, though.
Yeah, it might be. It might be.
I'm not gonna compromise with that. Like, I'm not gonna listen to that shit every day.
But they're also compromising for something else too. Ain't nobody perfect. So so you're gonna have to compromise in some kind of way.
You can compromise, but if that's like I'm not speaking for a lot of men, but I hear that often.
I'm not saying deal breakers though. I'm not saying your deal breakers, compromising with your deal breakers, but
So I think there's a healthy level of compromising in a relationship. Like you like white bread, I like wheat bread. All right, let's buy both. You know what I'm saying? But as far as like something for your sanity, like I'm not gonna compromise that you disrespect me in this way that you feel like, well, you just should be able to take it.
Right.
Settling or compromise, like however you want to word it, right?
Exactly.
No one should ever compromise their sanity at the end of the day.
Well,
now,
like what you
said, be a little snazzy, a little jazzy at the mouth, because at the end of the day, she's a good person, but she's not disrespecting you with that jazzy mouth. Little back talk right ended a little backed ass up in the bedroom, right? I'm just saying it's a difference between being disrespectful at the mouth and then just being, she just always like to pop off. You don't be paying on no mind.
Right.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying about compromising. Like, she be popping off at the mouth all the time, but I need her to do this. Particularly need her. I like her around because she likes to do this, because she does this for me, and I need that. So it's like, all right, I will compromise this in order to get what I need. That's what I don't like about settling, because it's like, you're basically not getting anything that you want, anything that you need. You're just the only thing you get, one bare thing that you need, and that's not being alone. And nobody look, being lonely is not a cool thing. I don't believe I believe there's somebody for everybody. But at the same time, I don't believe anybody should settle, but I don't believe people should start putting this settle as high of a ranking as compromise. Like, you need to compromise, not settle, but compromise your standards. Look, evaluate your standards and figure out what is it that you really need versus what is it that you want. And so just because you don't get everything that you want does not mean you're settling. It just means you're compromising to get the ultimate need of what you are looking for. So that's why I don't like the word settle. Because if you settle, that means you lost.
I think there's no peace or anything in settling. And you will be alone in settling, right? Because you're not with what you desire. Nothing is being met. Needs, expectations, like nothing is being met. Compromising can only go so far. Like, if we have to compromise 90% of this relationship, then that's not a healthy compromise, right? That's just toxic because it's not healthy. But there is a level of healthy compromise, and when I say healthy, I mean like in a real mental healthy state. Like I said, you like wheat bread and I like white bread, but I'm not going to compromise that. If I want a monogamous relationship, but you want polygamy, I'm not compromising on that, right? You know what I'm saying? Just to make you happy. That level of healthy compromising is a small window.
Yeah,
right.
And I feel like if you're compromising, and that's something like how you explain the wheat and the white bread. If we compromising with that, say I like wheat bread and you are a person that like white bread, if I'm compromising, I'm okay with that. That's not something I'm always bring up and be like, I hate that this happens in my relationship. This is the that I always have. So I understand the compromise, and I think that it's good to compromise. But when a man is constantly saying, I want peace, and that's a big problem, that's a major problem, that's not a compromise. That's a compromise. You settle. If
that's toxic.
If she has a mouth and it's bothering you that you're always complaining about that, if she can't take creative criticism and you don't like that she can't do that, and that's a major thing that you're always complaining about, those things are your settling, because that's not the person that you also want to be with, because you're constantly complaining. This is what we have to deal with as men. This is what we have to deal with as a woman. It's not a compromise.
It's toxic.
Yes.
If you're a person that needs peace, because like I say about compromises, wants and need. If you're a type of person that needs peace, then if somebody's not bringing you peace, that's not compromising. Like you said, that's really, and you get with that person that's not giving you peace, that's really settling. That means you're still alone, because you're alone in your world. But when it comes to compromising and settling, like I said, find the want and need, because some people like war and they just want to hear that shit all the time. And
that's
so
because they're toxic. Let's make that a thing, right? People that just like all that drama is toxic. Like, it's not cute. Ain't nothing cute about that. And I hate that society deems that to be the thing. Like, I don't like to feel my cortisol rolling through my veins, right? I don't like the feeling of anxiety in a relationship.
But you gotta consider also, you said something about society deemed that as cool, but think about it. We have been conditioned to vicariously live through other people's drama to make ourselves feel okay. You see what I'm saying? So we can be justified and not bullshit. And because 9 times out of 10, we don't want to be accountable for our own actions, mentality, behaviors. You see what I'm saying? Word usage, whatever the case may be. And so a lot of that plays a part in that. So if you're full of drama and you're portraying that on the big screen, shit, I can just live through you to make myself feel okay. At least I ain't like you. You see what I'm saying?
Right. And that's the unfortunate society that we live in, right?
And we got to discern that, because
you got to be healthy for yourself.
We do live in a world that's full of deception, and it's like I was saying earlier. It's like people can what they say. What's the old saying? People can play a good role for so long, and they can say all the right things leading up to the point. Just like when we get behind our cars, get behind the wheel of our cars, there's a thing that's called blind sides. You're not going to see everything about that person. You see what I'm saying? They can hit a 1-2 on your ass. You be like, where the hell did this come from? Y'all could have had all the conversations in the beginning about everything, about your childhood trauma, your demons, and everything. But that 1-2, you weren't ready for that. So that's why I always say, you know what I mean? We can try to protect ourselves as much as we can, but there's always what you call a customized situation that will test your ass to show you to see whether or not you're really prepared. You see what I'm saying? For stability,
right?
For help, you know what I mean? For normality in a healthy relationship.
I think
because
I'm sorry. Go ahead. My bad. Oh. I think too, even in them 1-2s and 1-hitters, those blind side, I like to see, like, what is it in a healthy relationship? Like, even if I'm hit with something, or if I hit that person with something, how do we react in that? Right. It's going to determine whether we're going to make it or not. Because, like we said this before in the conversation, like, nobody's perfect. Something's going to pop up.
Right.
You thinking everything is okay, right? Because we feel like I healed myself, you healed yourself, but something pops up. It's always something that's gonna pop up.
Because the worst thing that you can do in a relationship is to walk on eggshells. To feel like you got to walk on eggshells. So you want to offend. You see what I'm saying? That's bullshit, man. You shouldn't have to feel like that because somebody's upset or you have a disagreement or whatever that case may be. Let's just humble ourselves. And let us talk about the issue so we can come to a solution. Because, I mean, the average man wants solutions. We're problem solvers. You see what I'm saying? We're not going to continue to rehash the issue over and over and over. We're not going to internalize that. What's the problem? So therefore, we can get to the solution. I don't want to continue to see this over and over again because you're feeling some kind of way. Or vice versa. Because there are some weak feminine men, you know, effeminate men out there that carry those traits as well. You know, silent treatments, you know what I mean? Stomping around, slamming doors and shit to try to get attention. You know what I mean? Come on, man. So, I mean, we both carry those traits, but all I'm saying is, if we're in those kind of relationships, because you made a good point earlier, Lakia, we go through changes and stages in life, even in our relationship. And we got to be willing to come to the table to resolve those things. I remember in 2013, that was the most critical point in my life. I couldn't explain what I was going through until I came out of it. The closest person to me, I couldn't explain that to them. I just know I'm going through something, and I just need you to be patient with me. Now, if you can't be patient with me, okay, the only resolve that we have, you go your way, I go my way, because I can't explain what's going on with me. I know I'm going through something. I've never been here before. But I just need some patience. And that just come, and we still handling everyday issue. But once I came on the other side of that, guess what? Yes, I lost relationships. You see what I'm saying? Lost friendship, all of that kind of stuff. Because people get locked in seeing you one way and don't want you to change because it's going to challenge them to look in the mirror, to grow up and be accountable.
Yeah, you got to see somebody in 4 seasons. And 4 seasons doesn't have to be 12 months out the year, right? Like you can see somebody in 4 seasons in 1 month. Yeah, you can see somebody in 4 seasons in a week. Right. Now that's a bipolar problem. Lethal Logic said they're not toxic, they have toxic traits. Toxic traits. No matter how
entertainment is natural. Women don't want boring men.
That's true. Women don't want to be bored.
Now, let me tell you something. Now, I feel like I'm a good comedian. I feel like I'm a good, funny person. I'm very entertaining. However, I don't have toxic. That's not toxic. It's the difference between being entertaining in a relationship than doing bullshit.
All right. We're going to cut it down now. We're going to cut it down. I want everybody to say their final thoughts before we go off the air. You know, before that, I want everybody to like the video. Thank you. Look here, I will just give you your final thoughts on this subject.
I just want to say I appreciate y'all bringing me on. I'm so nervous.
I told you we did good. It's all good. It's all
very good job.
Okay, so your final thoughts is thanks for coming
I'm
on.
sorry. My final thoughts is don't nobody like no toxic people. Stop compromising and settling on bullshit. It is 2022. People need to grow the hell up, okay? And know what you want before you get into something. And if that ain't what you want, get out of it.
Get out of it.
And if you with a person that's narcissist, don't stay there long. Study long, you study wrong. Get the hell on.
I like that. All right, Erica, your final thoughts?
Well, you said a mouthful, and I agree with all what you said. So I'm gonna go with what you said. Also, if you are a narcissist or you have narcissist traits, once you try to recognize those traits and then try to make some adjustments, because those adjustments will be beneficial to you as well as the people that you encounter.
All right, and Rob, what's your final thoughts?
Man, you know, we all still a work in process, man. I just say, don't give up. Keep doing the work. Stay in the garage. You know what I mean? Do that mental health tune-up. See what those blind spots are. Because, you know, a lot of times I don't want to be the one that's projecting out when I know that there's some things about me that I'm still yet working on and getting over. You know what I mean?
Right.
And my thing at the end of the day is the mirror can be either my best friend or my worst enemy. And I want it to be my best friend because I want to see who I am through and through, not the bullshit that I want to believe or what I allow other people to project on me, because that's what they want. Let the mirror be your best friend. You'll be all right.
All right, Vic, your final thoughts?
Man, mental health is real, man. I think people need to really take a look at within themselves, like Erica said, and do the work, man. And if you have these kind of characteristics, really look at what's that, a book? really do the work. Really do the work. Look at yourself in the mirror, like Rob said, and identify these problems or issues as that people are saying about you. You know, don't always take it to heart, but just look at them and really analyze yourself and you know, do the work to try to change some things because it might be for the better. You know, and then on the other end of it, if you are in these type of situations and you recognize this in other people, you know, it may be best you get out of it, especially if they don't see it within themselves before it gets too far gone and somebody get hurt, you get hurt, family members get hurt, or this person might hurt somebody else. But yeah, you know, be aware, be smart. Don't let nobody tear you down out here.
All right. Vic said it good itself, you know, be aware out here. Sometimes, you know, always look at things with a critical eye, evaluate things, and also get some therapy, because, you know, sometimes, you know, you might look at somebody as, hey, this person might be a narcissist, but maybe you might be the narcissist, or you know, but at the same time, identify the red flags, and it's okay to identify those red flags so you can understand that you're not alone. It's not you, it's them. Be cool with it. But, you know, that's my take on it. And I want to thank all of you guys for being here. You know, thank you for tuning in to the Pure Game Podcast. Please like the video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. Please share the video. Let's get this platform going, because this conversation got to keep going. And don't like that, you're tuned into the Pure Game Podcast. Your host, Takenomics. I'm out. Peace.
Peace.